Hello everybody, it is Marty McConnell, the Off-Grid Gecko, and today I'm going to be preparing suet, or rendering suet as it were. This is suet. Now this bag is not USDA approved. I got it from a local butcher, and since I'm going to be using it for things like soap and balms and waxes and candles and stuff like that, I'm not going to be using it for food. I was able to get it. It can also be used to make a type of bird food, but today we're just basically going to be rendering it so that I can put it up in this form right here. It is not really going to keep real well, and it's starting, hopefully it's not still frozen. It's been sitting, it was sitting in the house for several hours, and I brought it out here, and it's like 80 degrees out here, so it's warming up quite nicely. It smells like fish food, which is another possible use for it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be separating the connective tissue, some of it anyways, from the rest of the suet, and then I'm going to chop it up into little bits and throw it in my pot. And then depending on what the weather forecast looks like for tomorrow, the best way to do this is probably in a crock pot, because you can maintain a very low temperature for a very long time, let the process evolve slowly. You're going to get a clearer, better product. Again, this is going to be used as a source material for making all kinds of stuff, so I don't necessarily care about using it for cooking or making tortillas with it. I have a bucket of lard in the house that I can use that for, and really you can use any fat for that kind of stuff. Suet does impart a unique flavor, and it's very delicious. What suet is and what suet is not. Okay, so this is not the same thing as muscle fat. The two often get confused, and it's a very confusing topic for us modern humans. Like one of the butchers that I want to talk to today, who consequently did not have any suet, he knew what I was talking about, but the guy that met me at the counter in his shop turned around, he's kind of like, what the fuck is suet? And maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Some people pronounce it more like soot, so it's like soot. I don't know. So I just call it suet. The butcher knew immediately what I was talking about, and he was like, I don't have any, we don't really keep that, there might be another meat processor around, blah blah blah. So I went on a little quest and I found some, and I got 9 pounds of the stuff today. And the only reason the butcher had it is because there are a couple of people that use this for their bird feeders that go to him, so he kind of packs it, freezes it, and saves it for those guys. I'm gonna bust this open real quick. And what it is not, so it's not muscle fat. This is from beef, it's from a cow, or maybe a bull. And this is the fat that's found around the kidneys of the animal. And that makes it a very specific kind. And it's going to start making all kinds of squishy noises here, because, ooh, I pulled off some good little chunks right away. Through it, pervading it, and everywhere in it, my hands are going to be soft as hell by the end of the day playing with this stuff, is this little connective tissue here. Now these can be used to make a type of cracklings. They can be used as fish bait. There's just a billion different ways to use the stuff, but the thing that takes the longest is processing it, because there is a lot of this connective tissue in here. You see that? Like, that's all, it's almost like skin. Is what it feels like, and all of this stuff's connected to that, and it permeates through it. There's, you know, each chunk you break out gets smaller and smaller, and there's a little bit of connective tissue in each chunk. You'll also notice I'm not being super sterile here because I'm getting ready to render this. I don't care, I'm not going to be eating it, so if it gets a little dirt in it or a bug here or there, it's not really that big of a deal for me. But what I want to do is really mash it up and just get the little fatty chunks out. And it has a very long shelf life. It can also be used to seal jars for canning, or a number of other uses because of these unique qualities that it has. It's very, very hard, solid stuff. It's not like beef fat or bear fat, which will be sort of more liquidy, and if you want to make some of the same things with those fats, like candles or whatever, you're going to have to add some beeswax or some kind of heavier wax to the mix. That was no small chore, believe you me, but I made it mostly through it. I got about most of it in there. That's, you know, more than a gallon worth for sure. And this stuff is really, it may look a little gross on camera, but this is almost like wax, and the stuff around it, the connective tissue, it's, I assume, is a type of collagen. It's kind of like plastic wrap, okay? So it's not nearly as gross when you're actually doing it as what it may look like on TV. But anyways, I got a little fake fire going over there with the propane, so I'm gonna put this on there. It's kind of heavy, and we're gonna go ahead and melt this guy down. There we are, a little low to medium fire. Maybe I can make it a little bit more medium. Which way? Up this way. I'm gonna let that joker sit and cook for a minute. It smells like hamburger, like delicious hamburger. So from the internet, here are some uses for tallow. Can be used in cooking, deep frying, no shit. Healthy butter substitute when cooking, I can see that. Oil muskets and rifles, doubles for gun grease, made into pemmican or sausage, pastries, to replace vegetable oil in anything, basically. Conditioned leather to make it soft, supple, and waterproof. Typically that's done by mixing tallow with beeswax to make a deal. Flux for solder, didn't know that one. Antimicrobial properties, so think like Vaseline. Alleviate poison ivy, yeah, I'll start believing that when me shit turns purple. Helps nursing moms produce, yeah. Pregnant mothers, antimicrobial, you already said that. Lubrication for moving parts, biodegradable motor oil, massage cold hands or other body parts. Good for your skin to prevent wrinkles, and its antioxidant properties infuse it. Don't know who wrote that sentence, but they're not very good at writing sentences. Homemade lip balms and salves. Conditioning clothes, whatever that means. Used for makeup. You girls might like that. I'm not much of a makeup person myself. Mustache wax and organic shave cream. Rust repellent on, this says weapons, but any kind of iron. It makes a good coating for iron. You get away from that before you catch yourself on fire. I'm tired of telling you. Baby skin, gentle and free of chemicals. Natural lice killer when mixed with apple cider vinegar. That's a new one. But when you mix an acid with a fat, some of these things are kind of, they can be explored more. Mixed with baking soda as a natural deodorant. Good for insect bites as it coats the skin. Lather onto the skin. You can also use it for soap. Food supplement for pets. That's why these guys are all gathered around it. Seasoning for a cast iron skillet. It does have a high smoke point. It's like 400 plus for the smoke point. Probably going to be a little variable. Prevents blisters from boots and shoes. Good for screws and brass fittings. So I guess that's another lubricant property. You can make shampoo, conditioner, soap, of course, any kind of cleaning stuff. Help you sleep by providing fats and amino acids your brain and body needs. That's one of those trendy things. So basically this stuff's good for anything. It's a grease, it's a lubricant. It can be used for balms and salves, as I said. For your tools tool handles to coat them. It will protect the wood and polish it. You can make a shoe polish out of it, and until commercial petroleum ramped up, like this was one of the major oils that was used for a lot of things, along with olive oil and things like that. But in its solid brick form, as long as you keep air away from it to keep it from oxidizing, it's got a really long shelf life. So we'll find that out through testing. Alright, I think these are about ready. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this out and strain it. Alright, we got to adjust the game plan just a little bit. So I've got a colander here. I've got my cracklings and my stuff here. And hopefully that thing doesn't fall in there. I don't think it will. I'm probably going to be overrun by cats any second now. Oosh, ouch. Alright, let me get my form and we are ready to pour. This should be interesting. Alright, I figured this would be big enough to hold all the liquid, so we're going to try that out. There's our sweet meat. And it's probably got some impurities in it because I didn't strain it properly. What to do. Alright, here we go. Muslin filter paper. Alright, well I kind of screwed that up. So we're just going to have to try something else. I'm going to go ahead and take that muslin, it's just regular muslin cloth. We'll put it in there, and pour this in there, and we'll do this the hard way. Because there ain't no easy way anymore at this point. It's mostly clear, a little yellow, and it's sort of straining out at a very slow pace. Yeah, I didn't think this through real well. I wasn't expecting a thunderstorm to land on my head all of a sudden out of nowhere. Oh god, I almost screwed it up. Alrighty, so we'll pull the pot. We'll strain the golden juice. And we will hope that no kitty gets the stupid idea to put their nose in here and burn it. So muslin cloth worked really well. But that part's done. This stuff looks nice and clear. I need to cover it with something. Don't forget to subscribe and see more of my zany adventures. It's amazing how fast everything can go to hell sometimes. So that little gust of thunderstorm we just had, which was supposed to last all night and supposed to show up like 2 hours ago, according to the weather people. It pretty much blew my door off the hinges, my storm door. So I'll be fixing that tomorrow. And through all of this, somehow I only managed to get a couple drops of water into the pan that I'm drying the tallow in. So it's going to have a little imperfection in it when I dump it out, and it's going to be wet, and I'm going to dry it off, and hopefully that doesn't contribute to anything negative. We put it that way. The water didn't boil, thank God. But now the storm seems to have abated and passed. It's time to collect my thoughts and recollect. I'll try and get a picture of that for the video whenever it cools off. I mean, it's on the porch. I can't move it right now until it solidifies up. So it's probably going to be sitting there for a while. I wasn't able to get it inside. Trying to do things quick and didn't really think it through. I should have really poured it inside on the countertop or something, or somewhere where it can't get stepped on by a cat. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. But it's the end of the storm. It's almost the end of the day. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the fat and boil it up and make the kitty some cracklings, and we'll see how that goes. Might make some nice kitty snacks, and I'll throw some salt in there to sort of preserve them a little bit so I can give it to them tomorrow as well. I don't know how long it'll keep. I don't even know if that's really what a cracklin is, but that's what they kind of remind me of, these little fatty chunks of tissue that have been boiled and they're puffed up like a pork rind. So, could be cool. They may like it, they may not. I don't know. But, yeah. Just got to gather up my my spirit. And I'm not a freaking saint, you know. I'm not going to say that I just weathered this whole thing with a smile on my face. I was actually pretty frustrated there for a minute. But now looking back on it, it's like stuff's going to happen. Things are going to happen. Storms are going to blow in out of nowhere and disappear just as fast. That's life, right? All you can do is drink a beer and enjoy it. So while you're having so much fun, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you all later. Ready? And the tallow came out extremely good. Stuff out of the way. So, towel. And this piece actually just fell out of the bottom of the pot. That was a leftover when I was cooking the cracklins for the cats. I went ahead and did some extra, and this was left in the bottom of the pot when I was done. This is the stuff that we poured, hard as a rock. These are some of the leftover cracklins, so that's cat snacks or Marty snacks if I get hungry. And this was the tallow that I rendered from the cracklins when I did all the leftovers. And this stuff just pops right out. Should anyways. Well, one of them came out. Yep. And then we got these little chunks of tallow. So I'm probably going to put these in a zipper bag and just get them where they're not exposed to the air. Because even though it'll last a long time, it will oxidize and it'll discolor. So you don't really want that. There's some little color on here from the bottom of the pot. Or the bottom of this cookie jar was, you know, it had a little bit of rust and a little bit of stuff. But yeah, perfect for making salves and balms and lotions and all kinds of stuff. The consistency, I would say, is about perfect, because once you mix plant matter with this, then that's going to soften it up a bit. But we'll save that for a later video. And for now, I'm going to get the rest of these guys out and get them bagged up and put them somewhere in a dark, cool place so that they can go for long-term storage. Look, it has a U.S. patent number on it. 7 pounds and 10 ounces pure tallow.